Hello, it's Big Camp. We're back at the Royal Guard. Today's November the 3rd. And I'm out here in the garage working on a Royal Guard after work. I just got in actually about a half hour ago. So today we're going to clean some switches on the playfield that I think need to be fine-tuned, so that when the ball touches the rubber, the switch is close enough so that the bells will score, the digital turn on the score wheel. So we're going to take a look over here. We're just going to clean these while we have them out. So I have the drop light here now, and I'm going to clean some of these switches. So here we go. We're going to start with this switch over here and just clean this really. You could even take the rubber off and just drop the rubber right there, and then you can clean this switch by putting in that. Now I use a headset when I do these switches. These magnifier headsets are terrific. You can really see the contact when you clean it. So that's what you want to do. You want to clean it ever so lightly, but you're going to see it's going to shine right up because it's brass. Try to make it nice and smooth, and check them. They look pretty darn good to me. So once that is achieved, we can put the rubber back on, and now we can adjust the switch. Actually, I turned the rubber the other way around so that it has a little bit more tension now. Actually, it's tighter. Just trying to figure out which one feels better with. So I'm going back to where I was actually. And you could adjust this to make this rubber a little more bouncy by stretching the rubber here with your fingers. So I'm satisfied with the rubber the way it's set up. I like the tension on it. I can see with my finger bouncing here, simulating the ball condition. You can see the switch just about making, but they're too far apart, so we're just going to make a little bit of an adjustment. So there's two ways you can adjust this switch. You can kind of take a shortcut, and I have a little stick I use. I go down there and I can kind of move that back switch. First I'll judge and see how much of a space I have here, and I can see that. So I'm just going to move this out of the way and try to bend that switch a little bit forward. I can feel the tension. It's just a little too much. So now I'm going to, wow, I really like that. You can fine-tune these contact points on the switches so that they're ever so close that when the ball comes down, it'll definitely score because you have it kind of close. Keeping close switches like this, you have to keep an eye on them. Sometimes the rubber stretches on its own when you keep them this close. The switch contacts are pretty close. So I like it. I'm going to leave it right where it is and test it with the ball when I'm done. I'm going to move over to this one here. I'm going to clean this switch next. Might as well clean these switches while I have, and I could real attention to that, so I'll just keep this over here. Take it off so I can clean the switches. And they look a little dirty, so again, after 500 plays, you may want to just clean your contact points a little bit here, just like this. Very easy to do, very lightly, and that did it. Just a couple strokes from that file here, and it was perfect. So I'm really getting. You get to get pretty good at this after you do so many. So in the beginning, it may feel, for me, it's very comfortable. So I always manage to put my body in the right position and my fingers in my hand, so that I can just get in there and clean them switches. Just nice. I could see them getting shiny. They were black. Wow, that quick. So that's all you really want to do. You don't want to file forever over there. Because if you file forever, you'll file down the contact points on the switches. Wow, that looks so good. You can go back and check your work. That looks good. And this one, we're going to clean the switch on this one, and then all the switches are clean. So we're just going to take this off and lay that right there, so we know it goes right back on the same way. And yeah, this one's a little dark, not too bad, and that one's got a little mark on it. So we're just going to 1, 2, 3. Couple strokes is all you need. That's it. Wow, look at that. And that's less of a little black rind. We're going to wipe that up because we're going to wax the playfield next. But like I said in my last episode, I was going to clean these 4 switches here so that the ball, and adjust the switches so that the ball hits it and bounces onto the rubber and hits the switch and makes the switch so that the game can score, the bell and the score reel and whatever else it's supposed to do. But anyway, so I'm going to put these rubbers back on and then adjust these 2 switches, and we should be out of here. So I got just about the same tension. I can make it the same tension by just moving that rubber a little bit. Got the same tension. Just a little bit. There it is. I've got the same tension, so we want to make just a little bit more. There it is. I like that. So now we're going to put this one back on also. And yeah, what I'm doing now is I'm just trying to get this rubber just where I want to put it. I can stretch it and mold it into shape. This rubber is really well made that you buy from Pinball Resource, the rubbers. It's always good to yeah, that feels good too. So I'm going to take a look at these switches now and use my little switch bender. Okay, I'm going to take a look at that switch where it is a little far apart. So again, I'm going to move this out of the way, the rubber, and just stick this all the way down into the holder. You can really feel that go down there, and that will move the entire switch. Because you don't really want to bend this one here. This one has to flex. It's this back switch you want to bend closer to that flexible, longer switch. And I still want to get a little closer. I might even want to get a little closer on that. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the identical gap between both switches. So I'm back here, I want to look at that gap. Yeah, that gap's exactly like the other one now. Very close. But being that it's close, you have to watch out for this switch sticking in time, but maybe not. Sometimes you set them perfect and they stay. The rubbers are nice, good rubbers. So let's see, we're going to adjust this one here now too. This one's not bad though, and this one either is not bad. I'm going to leave it because, well, maybe this one I move a hair more. Here it is. That one's pretty nice. I can really see that contact too. So I'm going to make it identical so that the ball, wherever it hits there, it's going to score. So I like that. So now we're going to check the scoring by now we're going to see if it works perfectly like I want it to. We'll start the game. I'll manually come in to get the ball over here and put it in my hand and just basically bounce on that rubber and test it. Look at that, it really scores. Look at that, the ball really ain't coming any power at all, but it's scoring, see it? So when it does kind of roll down there, you'll get it. That one's really good. That one too. That one too. Yes, that's just the way I want it. The gap is really small between the two contact points on the switch. But as you can see, you can really tell that it's scoring easily. These are always going to score because yep, I like the way it is. I do, I like the way it is. That was the ball that came down and hit the camera, but anyway, we'll get back to it. Whoop. Kind of lost my little tripod. Let's see if we'll get it back sturdy. Here we go. So yeah, like I said, these are really scoring nice now. Every time you come down, look at that, hit an edge. Very easily they score. Wow. Okay, so they're perfect. They're a little close, so Billy's going to have to keep an eye on them, but they may last forever like that. You never know. But as long as that rubber stays good. Alright, so we're going to end the game. And we're going to clean the rubbers and then wax the game. But today's lesson is really how to fine-tune the one-point switches. This one here, 1, 2, 3, 4 switches, fine-tuned. The gap between the switch is very small. So, but that's the way they're supposed to be set if you really want the game to score perfectly and always sound off when you're playing. Alright, so the next step is to clean the rubbers and wax the game. Let's take a little break now. We'll be back.